And the reason why is because of their, like I said, because of their expectations. And yet, if they put money into a slot machine, where essentially the only difference between technical trading and a slot machine is the fact that with a slot machine, you have to put your money in first and then wait for a pattern to emerge. With technical trading, you have to wait for a pattern to emerge and then technically put your money on the line. The problem is, because the way our minds think, we think that because the pattern emerged, that somehow or another it's giving us an edge on that particular individual trade. And there's just no way of knowing that. But over a series of trades, it does. So it's like technical analysis gives the individual the availability of being the casino. Technical analysis lets you own the slot machine because you've got the odds in your favor. The casino makes the slot machine available to us because they've got the odds in their favor. But to derive the benefit of those odds, you have to be able to execute properly. And you have to think about this properly. It is just a numbers game based on the odds. That means that you can't put an extraordinary, let's say an extraordinary amount of significance on each individual trade. Because if you sat and played a slot machine, you wouldn't think anything of it. If you played a dollar slot machine and you sat down with the idea that, you know what, I got $100 in my pocket, and you didn't win, you might have, let's say 10 times in a row you didn't win, you're still going to push the button. Because eventually you think, eventually I'm going to hit. Eventually I'm going to hit, so it's all right. You see, it's all right. Same thing here. This trade didn't work. Well, eventually I'll get a winner. This trade didn't work. Eventually I'll get a winner. This trade didn't work. Well, eventually I'll get a winner. Well, I don't know about this next one now. And that's almost always the winner. Now, if it turns out that your methodology has diminished in its, let's say, in its capacity to produce a winning percentage, because the underlying nature of the market is changing in relationship to this fixed formula, then, that's why you trade in smaller sample sizes, or a sample size where you don't lose an inordinate amount of money to find out it's not working. But you do this right, and you're the casino. Regardless of all the dynamic traders, regardless of all this other stuff I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. None of that stuff's important. As long as you understand as long as you understand how the underlying dynamics relates to the formula, so that you don't put an extraordinary amount of significance on a formula that's just giving you a pattern in collective behavior, not individual behavior. And it's individuals who move the market. So those individuals, there can always be an individual or group of individuals who come into the market that do something that completely negates the outcome of your pattern. And that's all right, because there's no way to know that in advance. It's all right. When you look at it that way, then you won't get all worked up. Then it's just a random outcome, just like a slot machine. It's just a random outcome. Because that's what you're expecting. You expect a random outcome, you got a random outcome, and there's no emotional significance. Because here's what happens when you don't look at it this way.